Okay. No more discussion. Need to have a roll call, please.
Need a motion.
You need the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second. Sorry.
Okay. Now a roll call. Now a roll call, please.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
Yes.
Mayor Householder.
Yes. Motion approved. Other business, other regular business, including resolutions, proclamations, and presentations. Starting with the police chief. Chief Pompey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, commissioners and residents. Just 2 items on the agenda for you today. The first is I did complete the background check for Elena Devishenskaya. I sent it over to the city manager and should be in your package. If you have any questions about her background or that what I may or may not discover that's not in the packet, feel free to give me a call or email me and I'll fill you in what I have. Secondly, vehicle status is about 3 weeks ago I got word that the 2009 Chevy Impala has some lights illuminating on the dashboard, so I took it into our mechanics down in Coloma for review. They came up with some problems that was going to run about $3,000, so I parked that car. Spending an additional $3,000 on that car would probably exceed the value of that vehicle, so we did not want to put anything else in it. So we're down to one patrol car, and that's the 2012 Dodge Charger. It is up to date. We fixed the minor problems with that, but it's roadworthy, but you're down to one patrol car. And that is it. I'll take any questions you might have, because that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Chief.
Yeah, thanks, Chief. If you would just forward us little details. It's just a harness or whatever issue you got.
Well, I actually have a copy of the bill. I'll give that to Ryan tomorrow so that he has the entire list of what they're recommending. There's a lot of major issues with that vehicle.
All right. Thank you.
That's it. So.
Go ahead.
Appreciate all you've done for the city.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Filling in.
No other questions?
Thank you very much,
Thanks,
Chief.
thank you.
All right. I'd stay longer, but
You just don't want to make big bang theory. I'm just kidding.
The next thing was the 5B, the city attorney report.
On your agendas, you'll see under new business, 2 items are going to come up for discussion and action by the council tonight. Item 7D is the Gary Baker separation agreement. You should all have received that document for review. Gary Baker has signed that agreement with the city. It is reflective of the discussion that he had with the city manager on September the 2nd about arrangements that he found satisfactory to have a mutually agreeable parting of the ways. And so that document is going to come up unless there are questions regarding that document. You can ask them now, or you can ask them when it comes up under new business. Regarding the ethics complaints, in your packet you were provided copies of ethics complaint directly related to the alleged misconduct of certain council members, both at meetings and outside of City Hall. What the charter requires with regard to such complaints is the creation of a body referred to as the controlling authority. The controlling authority is made up of myself and all of the other council members who are not alleged to have violated the ethics ordinance. What happens is that controlling authority then reviews the ethics complaint document, talks to the parties involved, and I'm involved in the process, and we review the ethics ordinance together as a group. The first decision that the controlling authority has to make is whether or not to even move forward, whether or not the controlling authority believes that there has been enough of an allegation or facts alleged that could even remotely constitute an ethics violation, a violation of your ethics ordinance. If they decide that the facts are sufficient to move forward, then the controlling authority is required to investigate the matter as it sees fit and then make recommendations back in an open meeting and take some action. The action can be disciplinary action. It can be no action after the investigation is complete. You will note from the charter, and I'm sorry, I was looking up the exact provision of the charter, or perhaps I think it's the ethics ordinance, I'm sorry, that one of the options available to the controlling authority is to refer the matter out for its independent investigation. And it has been my practice in other municipalities that whenever an ethics complaint comes in, whether it involves a council member, a board member, or a city employee, that it's my position that that should be referred out to an independent attorney, someone who doesn't have any involvement with the city, who will then investigate the complaint by reviewing the ethics ordinance, speaking directly with the individual who brought the complaint to gain more information if it's available, and then talk with the council members who are involved, and then basically conduct whatever further investigation that attorney deems necessary. The attorney would then report back to the controlling authority with recommendations in written form. And so that is what I have done in the past. I will note that the attorney that I have recommended in the past is an attorney in Lansing. I've never met him personally. His name is Steve Schultz. He's with Fakey Schultz in Lansing. All they do is municipal work. They're very familiar, and his specialty and relates to municipalities, ethics, and employment. And he would be my recommended source. The council does not need to take action tonight. What will come up under 7E of the agenda is to acknowledge that the controlling authority does need to meet. The ethics ordinance does not create a timeline other than it has to be processed expeditiously, so as soon as possible, that you're not under a specific number of days timeline or anything like that. Once the problem with that whole process, as you likely gathered by now, is that by bringing in an independent attorney, it isn't free. And I can say that I have had ethics complaint violation investigations range in terms of the cost from anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000 per ethics complaint. That is something the controlling authority has to decide. I'm just offering you what I've done in the past, and so it's something that we would speak to as a group. The reason why the controlling authority needs to meet at a separate occasion is the council members who are involved in the complaint should not be even present in the room when that takes place. Those are the two items that are coming up on the agenda for tonight as part of my attorney report. I wanted to close my attorney report with something in addition to that. I came on board with the city back in April as city attorney, and it was shortly thereafter that I was approached by the city manager with the possibility of handling city business, legal business on a flat rate basis. And basically, what we did is we looked at your budget for this fiscal year, and we essentially just created a monthly rate that would equate to, and that's how we arrived at the $1,600 per month figure that's in your budget. There are some additions to that. That does not cover expenses, and it does not cover any litigation. Since that was entered into, I would like to note, and this is not a criticism, it is to note, however, that my involvement has been far more extensive with this council than anticipated. And I'm going to, after the first of the year, approach the council again with regard to that arrangement, and we'll be happy. I would like to bring it up again after the first of the year. So it's just kind of a heads up on that. That's all I have.
Thank you. Going down the list is 5C, was a train resolution 2014-16. This was recommended from the mayor of Grand Rapids to include additional stops in the city of Bangor. Let me read it off. Resolution, City of Bangor, County of Van Buren, Michigan. Resolution supporting the mayor of Grand Rapids, Michigan initiative to increase the number of Amtrak stops on Pierre Marquette line. At a meeting of the City Council of the City of Bangor, County of Van Buren, Michigan, held in City Hall of said city present were city council members. Absent were the following preamble resolutions were offered by. Whereas the City Council of the City of Bangor finds that increasing the number of Amtrak stops would benefit the citizens of the City of Bangor by providing more convenient transportations, promote economic development, create new employment, and ensure viability of our Amtrak station to benefit of the citizens of the City of Bangor, Michigan. What I would like to do is get a motion to approve this new resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2014-16.
I'll support.
Any more discussion on it?
Doesn't cost us anything, but it says help the city, so.
Just transport, keep Amtrak stopped in the City of Bangor. Potentially more stops can allow people to go back and forth to Chicago, other places more convenient, instead of in the morning leaving and coming back at night. Right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, let's do a roll call, please, for resolution.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes,
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
Yes.
Mayor Householder.
Yes. Motion approved. Next opportunity is for public comments. Please keep your comments within 3 minutes and state your name, please.
My name is Richard Gray. There have been several people on this council who stated the agenda was to eliminate the police department, police chief, Department of Public Works, and its head. You have accomplished that mission. It's time for you to resign.
Anyone else?
I would like to, but go ahead. I'm Nancy Neiman. I'm considering in a few months moving into the city, and I've had some dealings with Mr. Fellows, and I've been very pleased with what he's told me. And I would suggest that he puts this administration report on the city website so all the public can see it. We seem to be going through city managers like Grant through Richmond. I'm not sure why. Are you looking for somebody to be your minion, or do you want somebody to manage the city? And right now, you know, when I mention Bangor to people that I know, they say, "Oh, yeah, we know about Bangor," and it's kind of the laughing stock of the county. So, you know, getting rid of another city manager, which looks like you're headed toward, by giving him low marks, and it looks like to me that he's done a pretty good job. I don't agree with that, and you know, when I move into the city, I'll probably raise more hell about it.
Next.
Okay. I was asked to read a statement by one of the members of the community. And yes, I am from the city of East Lansing, and I am a stickler for things. And so I said, I will read it, but I would like you to have it notarized because I'm all about doing things the right way. And so she did that. And so I would like to read her statement. Statement to be read to the Bangor City Council meeting of November 20th, 2014. My name is Elaine Rivers, and I was a temporary resident of Bangor since 1999.
and became a permanent resident in 2007. I'm sorry I'm unable to attend tonight's meeting, but I was in attendance at Tuesday night's special meeting of evaluation of our city manager. Although I didn't speak during the public comment segment, I have prepared a few words that I've asked my friend Julie Grant to read. I currently serve on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, the Friends of the Bangor Public Library, the Tax Review Board, and I'm Vice President of the Bangor Public Housing Board. Ryan has been instrumental on 2 of these boards. The low rating you gave our city manager on his review would appear to be the proper rating for a city manager who did absolutely nothing but show up. Instead of the hard work I've seen Ryan invest in his job. Yes, he's still learning, but he's only had 11 months on the job. To be labeled as a liar by one of the council members was disrespectful, unwarranted, and totally unprofessional. Bangor City Council has become known throughout the area as a group of negative, uncooperative, and non-supportive members that drive good people away. I felt there was a total disregard for all that he has accomplished during a short 11-month term, after being handed an extensive list of problems upon accepting this job. It is my wish, and the wish of many other residents, that the council would come together and work with Ryan Fellows, not against him, to help him do the job that he is obviously qualified to do.
All right. Any other comments? Go ahead.
City and County Commissioners, just some updates in the county. Our single entrance, we hope to have done now by the end of the month. We hoped by September, and we'll eventually get there, but in our South Haven 7th District Court, we hired Kalamazoo Mechanical to put a new HVAC system in. They're going to clean the ducts and replace the ceiling in the courtroom, and that's at a cost of approximately $387,000. We purchased the house at 212 St. Joseph Street in South Pawpaw, across from the courthouse, to tear down for more parking spaces. We think we can get about 26 more parking spaces there. The equalization report was sent out, and you should have gotten an email about that with a link that you could click on to check your appropriation. The clerk's office in our county collection program is collected over $527,000 this last year, and that is through the recovery of court costs, penal fines, attorney fees, and restitution. Sue Weirs, our veterans officer, is available at the Pawpaw Courthouse Wednesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 5, and at the South Haven 7th District Court on Tuesdays from 8:30 to 4. The Sheriff's Department are purchasing 15 new radios at a cost of the total cost of $65,521. 80% of that is coming from a Homeland Security grant, and the other 20% is coming from drug forfeiture funds. And that's basically it. Any questions for me?
Thanks a lot. Any other comments? Let's move down the list. New business. First on the agenda was scheduling city audit presentation for the city council, DDA, and EDC board.
Yes, for this, Bob Goebel has said that he is available the first week of December, and he's wondering if December 1st works. That's our regular meeting, or if, okay.
I think it's
It's
our regular meeting.
Regular meeting.
It's our regular meeting.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell him that, and I'll contact the DDA and the EDC board members and let them know that he'll be here for a presentation, and we'll get copies of the audit out to everyone right away. So.
Next thing going on the list was Parks and Recs board recommendations. Contact Housing Commission and Greenway Trail.
Yes, for this, I kind of did a little bit of a preview the other night. Part of the city's action plan includes finishing up the city's master plan and the recreation plan. And one of the first things that I heard about when I came here, Mayor, you said, was the interest in having a greenway trail, and I think that's going to be a really great asset for the community. It's really going to help increase how much people want to move here, how good experience for people living here, and it'll increase tax base, so we have more resources to do the things we need to get done. It's a rather lengthy process going through after the recreation plan is finished to actually realizing the greenway plan. It's just kind of a small step, baby step, baby step. Part of the greenway is owned by the Housing Commission. In order to apply for a grant, the DNR would need to be shown proof that we have the right to develop a trail to that property. And we can either do that through getting an easement or doing a property swap or something else like that. So I'm just asking the council if it's all right for me to approach the Bangor Housing Commission to talk about it. So I'll answer any questions about it.
Any questions, comments?
Is that what kind of cost would be involved to get this easement?
Well, since we appoint all of the board members and I know that they're all really good, reasonable people, hopefully not too much at all. It really, I could imagine an easement really wouldn't cost too much, particularly having Brian on retainer helps out, but
The recording fee will be
yeah,
less than $30.
yeah, it'll be very minimal.
Alrighty, well, we have a motion to proceed with that.
I'll make a motion that we proceed with the other and update through for the Greenway Trail.
I'll support.
Any more discussion on it? Alrighty, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Approved. Next thing on the agenda was police cars. I think Mr. Pompey just spoke up, told us this year about 2009. We did approve during the budget previously, also going after a grant for another police car. Any more updates on that?
Yeah, I should have the paperwork ready for signature by December 1st, and that was part of what I reported on at the earlier meeting. It looks like the USDA's Rural Development Office might be awarding grants soon, so let's just all cross our fingers and hopefully we can get a new car in here as quick as we can. In the meantime, when we did have it where our newest car was out of rotation for a little bit to get repairs, we were able to get the Sheriff's Department to loan us one of the cars for a little while. They've been really good neighbors helping us through this, and had really good talk with Lieutenant Walker. He's their operations chief. He's the third in line at the Sheriff's Department. Very friendly talk, and they've really been very helpful, and I'm sure we'll be able to bridge any of those gaps, and we'll keep on working at it.
What do you think our lead time will be for another police car?
That's a really good question, and I don't have particular details on that. Looks like that they could be reviewing grants and we could know as early as soon after the beginning of the next year, January 1st. I don't know which date that would be at though.
I mean, one thing, the grant gets approved. We know the state police department has a surplus of cars where they actually buy them for a discounted rate. So the thing would be, what would be the target date potentially once we hopefully approve the grant and for delivery of the car potentially? So that's something 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, what do you think?
I'm not quite sure on that. I haven't had a chance to get any details on that. So.
Okay.
But I'll be working on that more diligently now that it's a higher priority, obviously.
Well, I think it was a high priority then because when you asked us to give you permission to go ahead with the grant, You told us we had 30 days and we were coming up on the end of the 30 days. So I think we made that extremely clear in the past already that it was an important thing. And you brought to our attention in the first place that we were in a rough spot on that. So we turned in that information then, what that you asked us to give you permission to turn in?
The paperwork that I referenced about having ready for signature on December 1st is that paperwork that you're describing.
So what happened to the 30 days then if we're turning it in December 1st?
The 30 days was for the grant that was considered from the previous batch of funding. What we're applying for with this batch is a current batch of funding rather than the previous batch.
So did we miss out on that other grant?
Yes, we did.
And was that because what?
It was because the amount of paperwork required to fill in exceeded the time that I had available to fill it in that amount of time.
Okay.
So we keep moving forward with the new police car. What's our status, what we're gonna do with the existing 2 police cars? The current 2007 that's parked, doing nothing, and also the 2009, we elect to not fix it, potentially doing something with it. Other question is, are we also paying insurance on those vehicles as they set right now, namely the 2007?
Yes, the insurance probably hasn't been stopped now. It's still active. I would recommend selling the cars, put them out for bid, see what kind of price we can get for them.
Well, what I'd like to see us do is, since we're about to bring in a new chief, it looks like, is at least wait on the 2009 Impala, let her come in and give us her assessment of the entire situation and do what she wants to do. Let her take charge of it and let us know. As far as the 2007, I would have no problem with selling that, really. But the 2009, I think we should hold on to until she can give us a better understanding.
You still have to carry a liability insurance if it's just something on the DPW until it gets sold or something. At least in case of damage or vandalism or something.
You can carry storage insurance and keep comprehensive on it. Storage insurance and keep comprehensive on it.
Right.
I'm assuming that we're maybe not doing that right now.
Assuming that we're for it like it's on the road.
It's got full
I
coverage
don't think
probably,
we've
right?
changed our insurance now.
So all the more reason to auction that one.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's possible when you have a car that doesn't run like that to put what's called storage insurance on it. You just have comprehensive so that if somebody ruins it, sets it on fire, vandalizes it or whatever, it's covered.
Let's move on. We
I've
can,
got one thing. Our county commissioner brought up the fact that the sheriff's department got a grant through the Homeland Security. What would that be available to us, or would that enhance anything for us to go through them, or what would be the outlook there, Ryan?
I can contact the sheriff's department and ask them about their program that they applied to and what the details of that are.
Yeah, it might be worth looking into.
We're the fiduciary for a Region 5 for that grant. And we did get an $803,000 some odd grant. I don't know if it's available for car purchase, but it is something that you could check with at the sheriff's department.
I think just for the future, we might as well look into it. Doing something with those 2 other cars, if we're going to use them, or at least the 2007. It's sitting there, it's just costing us money, with insurance.
We should reduce the insurance.
Yeah. And potentially, if we're going to put it out for bids, then put it out for bids.
Do you think we need a motion to?
In order to put out the bid, it would require a motion.
Well, I'll make a motion that we go ahead and move on the 2007 squad car to put it up for bids.
Can you get a second on that?
I second that.
Okay. Are you all in favor?
You're selling it at the city asset.
Yeah. Please, roll call, please.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
Yes.
Mayor Householder.
Yes.
What do we do with the equipment, just out of curiosity? Is there anything out of that vehicle that can be held on to and used in a new vehicle as far as lights or radios? We hold on to that stuff?
Yeah, we should hold on to that stuff and see what we can do with it, and
Okay.
Were the cameras installed in that
Not
car?
on that one.
not in that one.
All right, moving down the list is the Gary Baker separation agreement.
Well, once again, it was presented to the council several days ago. Unless there are any questions, the only action required of this council, if the council is in agreement, there would be a motion to approve the agreement and allow the city manager and mayor to sign on behalf of the city. It's already been signed by Mr. Baker.
I move to approve the separation agreement with Gary Baker and to authorize the mayor and the city manager to execute the same on behalf of the city.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes,
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
Yes.
Mayor Householder.
Yes. Motion approved. E was the ethics complaint.
Back to me, the ethics complaints have been provided to all the council members, along with a memorandum explaining that basically there were two complaints. The first involved three council members, two council members, and three counting the mayor. And the second complaint was specifically against the mayor. So the controlling authority on the first complaint would consist of myself, Lynn Farmer, Fred Hicks, Jim Tanner, and Dan Fry. And the second controlling authority would include myself, Lynn Farmer, Fred Hicks, Jim Tanner, Dan Fry, Harold Bader, and Lucas Koenig. My suggestion is that depending on everyone's work schedules, that there be a meeting scheduled of the controlling authority, perhaps in advance of your December 1st regular meeting. It is a public body. It is subject to the Open Meetings Act. So it would be an open meeting. It would have to be posted. And my suggestion was perhaps 6 o'clock, perhaps on Monday, December 1st. But I recognize that work schedules for some members may prevent that.
Well, I can do that.
Basically, look at next time meeting schedule and need a motion.
Just need a motion to schedule the first meeting of the controlling authority.
Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the meeting for 6 o'clock on Monday, December 1st?
Motion. I motion that we have the meeting on December 1st at 6 o'clock, considering the ethics complaints. We do both at the same time?
You can't. Although the controlling authority, there's two different bodies.
Right.
So the first meeting would be, I would suggest calling it at 6 o'clock for myself, Lynn, Fred, Jim, and Dan, and then 6:30 for the second group, which would be the same people, and Harold and Lucas joining us.
Motion still for that?
Yeah, I second it.
Any more discussion?
can I vote on this?
The controlling authority is created by the council, so there's no harm in you voting for it. All you're doing is setting a meeting date.
Okay.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda is the new police chief proposal candidate.
Yeah, I would like to say I seen the contract. I've seen the emails back and forth. It looks like she's going to be a great person to bring in here, and it also looks like we need her in here yesterday. But as far as the contract goes, I don't think it's anywhere near ready, and I think we should put together a 3-person committee to go over this contract and help negotiate that between the city manager, the city attorney, and Elena.
My recommendation would be right away get some interim or intern set up that she agrees to start working, if that's what you guys would elect. While longer term, work out the contract. She was going to attend tonight. I recommend at this time her contract would not be ready since the contract was just proposed yesterday afternoon. Without having time for to be advised by our city attorney and even be reviewed by the city council. I recommend that, the contract not be presented tonight. It was just too early within, a 24, 25-hour notice, with half the city council members not even seeing the contract until this morning or halfway through today. It was the right thing, I believe, for the city of Bangor to actually do their due diligence and review that contract. She was, very supportive of it. She understood the situation. My recommendation would be is that we have a special meeting and bring her in. In the meantime, that we start proposing some type of groundwork, at least getting some type of letter of intent that she could start working.
Well, Brian suggested that it could be done that way when it was talked about, and I think it's a good idea to have a special meeting to hopefully swear her in and get some sort of letter of understanding with her on some of the key points that Brian mentioned, and then we can work on her contract hopefully quickly. Hopefully this isn't going to be a PCI contract thing. I think that's gone on way too long. So, I'd like to see a scheduled special meeting before December 1st. I think we need her in here before that, judging by all the information we have.
I think there's a 2-week notice that she requested that she had to give wherever she's working now. So diligently, we need to do it as quickly as possible.
I'll have my review of the contract and suggested revisions by Monday.
Okay.
Well, can we give her some sort of letter of intent tonight?
If you authorize me to do that, or the city manager to do that, sure.
I really think just temporarily, just thinking of what type of wording involved into a letter of intent right away. Part of it is also salary, days earned off, maybe during that time period. What type of benefits, what it is. I mean, it'd been nice if the city had just plain Jane policies, work policies, that anybody could come in and here's a policy, hire men, whatever it is. But since we are a municipality, we don't have those procedures and policies in that type of order. We have to come up with some type of short-term information for him to work on and agree on.
I think looking over the contracts and just some of the issues we've had in the past, no matter who's here now, the contracts stick with the city, and we have to make sure that they're in the best interest of the city first and foremost. And there's no way we could do it in that short of time. And I think it would make sense for there to be a 3-person committee to work on that contract out of the council.
I don't know why our city attorney can't do that.
My recommendation to the council, I'm appreciative of your desire to have council input and involvement in the process. However, the charter specifically states that the chief of police is under the purview of the city manager. The city manager is the one responsible for negotiating the terms of that contract, and then he or she, the city manager presents the nominated chief of police along with the contract for approval to the council. The council then has the authority to approve or not approve of the candidate or the contract, and in fact 5 votes are required to approve. My experience in this has been with these types of contracts is that I'm aware of the council's concerns regarding some of the provisions in the contract, and that I would work with each of you on an individual basis to kind of come up with my suggested revisions and how all of that can be dealt with in a way, and then it would be addressed at the special meeting as a group. And then I will have my laptop, and the candidate will be here, and we can finalize the terms at that time. But so we're absolutely clear, I was the one who requested I did not have time to get to a review of the proposed contract. I didn't receive it until yesterday afternoon. Today was not all Bangor all the time like it has been the last few days, and I had other things to attend to, and I'm sorry I didn't get to it. But I wasn't prepared to offer any counsel to this council tonight regarding the propriety of that contract or any of its terms. So I was the one who suggested that perhaps the presentation not be done tonight. Given the candidate is going to give 2 weeks' notice, I think it would suffice for this council to simply authorize me and I would ask for 5 votes on this as a majority to indicate to her that the council is hiring her as the chief of police, subject to the working out of a final agreement. Simple as that. Doesn't have to be anything beyond that. I think the city manager and the candidate worked diligently to come up with an understanding that they believe were the basic terms of the agreement. And I will work with her directly to go over any concerns the council may have, and then we will be able to work together to come to the council with a final agreement.
Brian, does Monday, does that give you enough time?
Yes.
Okay.
I love doing this on the weekends. No. Oh, as far as a special meeting, I'll have my review completed and sent out to the council members by Monday. Doesn't mean you have to have the meeting on it.
I move that we allow Brian to write a letter of intent to Elena. I can't say her last name. I've tried many times. I think she's a good fit for the city. She's got a very positive attitude. I think we need her. And I think we should go ahead and let Ryan get that typed up so she can start moving on her 2 weeks notice to her employer.
I second that.
Okay, any more discussion?
I was going to ask the city manager if he had any comment.
I just want to make sure, you said Brian or Ryan? Because
Brian
Brian
said he was going to type it up.
Good.
He had the weekend to do it.
That's right.
You should have 2
I heard that.
All right,
That's right.
we have a motion on the table. Can we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Yes.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Fry,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
Yes.
Mayor Householder.
Yes. Part of the thing is too, once we have that ready, like you said, for that special meeting, part of it would be her concurrence, when she could show up or not show up too. Like you said, I don't know if Monday or Tuesday is a good day or what day would be the best.
If you may, I did speak with Elena about what day could possibly work, and she said really the first chance she could possibly get here would be Wednesday. The earliest she could get here is 3 p.m. if there was 5 people that wanted to do that.
Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Exactly. And that's why I said, how early in the day could it be? Because I really don't want to be here at 7 o'clock on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving because I need to get to Chicago that night.
I will be next door cutting hair. That's the busiest day of the year in the barber shop.
We can have the meeting at your place. It's open. It's
Yeah,
open to the
that'd be
public.
Another thing is too, potentially with technology, is there any way we could do a meeting with a person, maybe on webcam,
No.
on a live stream?
He said no.
I don't know, I mean,
That is a really good question, and for a lot of nonprofits, they are able to do that. Municipalities have not gotten with the times yet. though.
But this is gonna be an open meeting.
Yes.
we're gonna get quick runs
So,
here.
I might have to move a couple
more
chairs
than
in the
just
shop.
5 of us getting together, there's other people that may want to attend and meet her and
So
uh,
what's the plan
so
here?
we need
That's where we
over
go.
here.
Well, I mean, Wednesday afternoon, later.
Earlier the better, right?
Well,
Is that what
she's
we're
saying
thinking?
Earliest,
The earliest she would be available would be 3. She could make any time after that, but I am trying to get to Chicago that night, and everyone else is trying to get to Chicago that night, or maybe leaving. I don't know. I might be able to just cruise right in, but
Well, what are you saying, that 3 o'clock would be bad for you?
3 o'clock, I can make 3 o'clock work.
Who else can make 3 o'clock? Can you make 3 o'clock?
I don't know.
5:30.
Yeah, you're gonna need to have
I'd love to, but
5.
5:30. 5.
you want to come over and ask me
4:30?
my vote? That's all you have to do.
I mean, I've met her, so, I know her.
It's still basically a lot of people get together for the meeting. And minimum 5 people is gonna vote yes if that's gonna be the case.
That's a very good point.
Otherwise, you don't get 5, it's no.
I can't make 3.
Okay, so
How about, later, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
What,
She said any time at 3 o'clock or on.
It's
She's
Tuesday.
available. She said Tuesday was out of the question.
Is there any way
We gotta
we
have
can
a
see
spot.
what kind of-
about Friday
We gotta have.
Said Sunday afternoon. Well, we're running into a time thing with her. We gotta
it's a
do
time
it.
crunch. We gotta do it ASAP.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock?
What exactly was
For Wednesday?
I would prefer that it be on Wednesday afternoon, but
I
Well-
prefer that as well,
Well,
so I try to
why-
put the earliest time I
why
can.
don't we
Can we
table
do the
it
letter of
and-
understanding or a letter of intent or whatever? Or
No, let's just do it.
What, would
It sounds like
Friday
we're
be
having
too,
trouble.
Friday
Guys,
after
I
Thanksgiving?
mean, the thing is, let Brian write his letter of intent, and I ask you city council members to read it,
Yep.
and that you agree to it, and that's why you're gonna vote to it. It's not, we're not just gonna, Brian, here you go, here's your green light. I mean, give him open checkbook. Here, Brian, start writing checks, right? No, that's being sarcastic. I mean, everybody has their jobs.
As I understand it, I want to make sure that I understand. I'm going to have the contract reviewed with proposed revisions, if any, to the council by Monday. The council is scheduling a special meeting, which I expect it would be to approve a contract
Right.
and
And to swear her in.
and to swear her in as chief. So if it has to be Wednesday at 3, that I will make that work. It's just, we all have personal preferences, and so I'm just asking the council to consider where everybody needs to be, and there might be some folks here who would like to attend, so.
Well, I guess part of the thing is too, we still have time. If we have to, Mayor has to call a special meeting if something could pop up earlier.
I'll be talking with her directly tomorrow as well, and Ryan.
So do we want to table this while these guys negotiate with her a little bit, maybe better timing if possible?
The only suggestion I have is that if you're not gonna call a special meeting and set the date and time right now, in order to do that, you have to put it in writing to the clerk. The clerk would then schedule the time, so you have to follow the terms of the charter, the terms of special meetings. So you can set it as a group right now without having to write her a note, that's
Right.
fine.
Okay, can we,
So it'd be better to get with her and see if we can possibly do it any sooner, and then the mayor can call a special meeting and we can meet hopefully before then.
So long as he does it
Within 18 hours in advance.
with 18 hours notice posted.
Sunday afternoon.
Was Monday out for Elena?
She said the earliest,
Would be
that's what
Wednesday.
she told me, was the earliest was Wednesday. I asked her about next week, and that's what she told me.
So we're just gonna let Brian get with her, Brian or Ryan, somebody.
And give us feedback, and if something would work out better, we can make it happen better, more convenient for everyone. If not, then be prepared, maybe Wednesday at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever.
Well, how many people's gonna be able to make it Wednesday? We just had a handful.
Well,
That's,
cross that bridge when
that's
we get
where
there.
I think somehow we're gonna have to work that out between now and then, between now and Tuesday.
okay. Are we gonna have 5 people available?
I won't be there.
You won't be.
Danny said he won't be.
I can't.
So it'd have to be you, Nick.
I don't know. Hopefully, I'm gonna have the day off.
1, 2,
So if it was only Dan and Fred that couldn't make it, we'd be
If you
okay.
that couldn't make it, we'd be okay.
Yeah. But we're wasting
And
a
it
lot
just
of time
happens that
talking
Dan and
about
Fred have already
special
met her, so.
Yeah, I know. I was on the committee.
Right,
Well,
we both
committee
were.
better.
So like I said, I mean, worst case, Wednesday, if some magic can happen, so it happens by now and then. Brian, talk to her.
Well, if we know that it's gonna be Wednesday, why don't we just set it for Wednesday and then we'll call your
You
boss.
can always cancel the meeting if you decide that
Okay,
it's
then
not
let's,
needed.
let's,
And basically, it's, we have enough, if you can make it Wednesday, that's the big thing.
It's all on you, buddy.
Either that or we're gonna come drag you out of the barber shop, one or
Right,
the other.
yeah, 5 minutes.
let's do it, 3 o'clock on Wednesday. So can I get a motion by the city council?
I make a motion that we set the meeting for the review the contract or the proposal that Brian will be presenting, and we review this with the incoming chief of police and proceed from there. Wednesday at 3 o'clock.
And really, can I get a second on that?
Support. Oh, you can. Put down Harold.
Any other comments? Okay. Let's go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
He doesn't have to come.
Motion carried. If you have it ready, you don't even have to come.
Oh, I'll be here.
Going down the list next is the city manager review.
Well, I asked for that to be on here because I think from everything we've seen and heard from the review, it just shows some of the things that we've dealt with to the public. I know everybody doesn't see all the communication back and forth and all the issues that we've had, but I move per the city charter to have City Attorney Brian Notek to compile written charges for just cause termination of City Manager Ryan Fellows based upon his unwillingness to follow council direction, his insubordination, for example, his refusal to get keys to the mayor and mayor pro tem as directed by approved motion in a timely manner. He is also unresponsive to requests for information from council members. He still refuses to answer questions and tries to steer council decisions by misinformation. He has also received less than honorable evaluation by the council as a whole, which shows his inability to perform his duties. Ryan has also presented a contract to the council and had the council believing he has bid this out with 3 companies. Turns out he misled the council when telling them that this contract was the only option. The other companies were not allowed to bid this out apples to apples. The city manager is not acting in the best interest of the city and is refusing to communicate all information to the council. He is not managing his departments and letting them make excuses for not providing city services, which has forced the council to intervene by way of motion on several occasions. This is not a full accounting of the issues we are having. More detail will be provided in the written charges provided by the city attorney to be approved by the council, and to schedule a hearing at least 10 days following the presentation of the written charges, and the city manager be placed on paid administrative leave immediately following this meeting pending the outcome of the hearing.
There's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Any more discussion? Have to have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Koenig,
Yes.
Councilmember Tanner,
Yes.
Councilmember Hicks,
Don't
do it.
I'm
Don't
gonna
do
say
it.
no.
Councilmember Bader,
Yes.
Councilmember Fry,
Emphatically no.
Mayor Pro Tem Farmer,
No.
Mayor Householder.
Yes.
Wow.
Motion carries.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, right?
Just keep starting over.
Yeah, so far it over.
It's working. It's working.
You'll get somebody that'll do everything you tell them to eventually.
Eventually you'll get there.
Yeah. What?
Watch out for the gavel.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry.
It is actually time for public comment.
You guys, I'm so bummed out.
So ridiculous.
Opportunity for more public comments.
Yeah, sure. Oh, go ahead.
I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. This is supposed to be good for the city? Let's just start all over again? You ran for election on the grounds that Bangor had all kinds of serious problems that needed to be addressed. And you made a strong case for it. And I believed you. And I thought you were going to come into office and you were going to do something about addressing the problem. This doesn't address the problems, it puts us back to square one. You're not so hot yourself. You're not so experienced yourself. I remember when you first came into office as mayor, and I felt so bad because there were people on the council who were so rude to you. I can't remember their names, but I can remember there was somebody on the council who could not for the life of her say Mayor Householder. She couldn't get the words out of her mouth, and I was so mad, and I felt so bad for you. And you still have to sit there and think about, gee, is this a roll call vote, or is it not a roll call vote? And so what? It doesn't matter. We're not born knowing the rules of order. I don't blame you for not knowing Robert's Rules of Order.
You're inexperienced, that's fine. If you come in with a heart to want to actually do something for Bangor, who cares? The attorney's there to tell you Robert's Rules of Orders. You don't need to know them. That's okay. But to have an attitude of wanting to do what's good for the city, we need that. That we need. We can't do without that. You're so smart. You really, really are. And I told you that the other night. And you really do your homework. And I admire that. And I'm tickled that somebody so young is taking so much of an interest. But you're pretty inexperienced too. The gang of you, you've got a lot of nerve jumping all over Ryan because he's inexperienced and he makes mistakes. Like none of you make mistakes. Like most of you aren't inexperienced. Don't be so self-righteous. All we need now is to go and have another search for how long, how many months are we going to go around and search for a new city manager so he can come in and start at ground zero just like Ryan did. And meantime, the city goes down the tubes. If you think you've got the backing of the citizens of this town for this little hanging jury you've got going, I'm here to tell you, you don't. You said the other night you hate being the bad guy. You get so tired of being the bad guy. I don't blame you. Go around and listen to what people are saying. Maybe they won't say it to your face. You send some of your friends that you know out into the community and hear what they say about Bangor City Council. It isn't anything good, I'm telling you. And I would like to be able to say good things about you, and I'd like to be able to say good things to you. But I'm ashamed of you tonight.
Any other comments?
Yeah. Does it make you happy? Does this decision make everybody happy?
No,
I'm
it's a
not
very
talking from the
difficult
fire
decision.
chief, I'm talking from a public person that's been through this numerous times.
I wanted to say that I forgot to earlier that I have made Eric Nesbitt aware of some of the things that are happening here. And his response to me was to send me the information for a recall election. And I think that might be a good idea. Yep, I think that would work. I know it would work.
Any other comments?
Then we can start from ground zero immediately.
I'm Penny Minchin. I'm a Bangor citizen. And the last time I spoke, I probably wasn't real kind to people. And I'm very sorry for Mr. Fellows. I don't think he was treated very fairly. I appreciate all the people that voted no and wanted to keep his job. When I'm sitting out here, what discourages me the most are the smug looks on the people that vote yes, or how they look and they think they've done one over, and they probably have. But I would like to ask the attorney, and I hope he can give me some answers. What happens now when we don't have a city manager? I feel really uncomfortable with some of the choices of the people that can step in. I'm very concerned. I think not giving keys to the city council members, I don't know that that's ever been done, and I don't know that it ever should be. And to hire someone for something small like that, that really bothers me. So I don't know if I can spend the rest of my 3 minutes hearing what the legalities are and what happens now.
I can offer comment to the council, and if you would like me to respond to that, I can do that. Otherwise, it's considered public comment during a meeting. It's not a time for discussion. What are the council's wishes?
Explain it to us, council.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it as it is till we go through the process.
Part of the process will be a 10-day hearing for reevaluation for the charter.
Can you just tell me what goes into that at 10-day hearing? Is that meetings?
In 10 days, he'll come back
If I could.
Please.
Thank you. The council has instructed me to, by passing that motion, to provide Ryan with what they call written charges. The term charges is found in the charter. It's not anything other than that. And basically, it will essentially be just a recitation of what the motion was tonight. Ryan is then afforded a hearing, which is open to the public, and it's an open meeting, and has the right to be represented by counsel. He has the right to call witnesses, and he has the right to defend himself against the charges that have been brought by the council by passing that motion. It is my practice, and I am recommending to the council that they have a court reporter here to transcribe the meeting, because there will be transcripts requested, and it's in the best interest of the city to have those transcripts taken. It is a formal hearing. It is not a city council meeting. It is a much more formal proceeding than even what you see here going on as a city council. There will be oaths taken and people will be sworn under oath prior to giving testimony. And Ryan is well aware of his rights under the terms of the charter, state law, and federal law. That's what happens next. I will have those to him as soon as I possibly can, so that he can take whatever steps he believes are necessary.
Is that 10 business days or 10 calendar days?
10 calendar days.
That's a Sunday.
It's not 10 days from today, it's 10 days from the date I provided him with the written charges. So if I present those to him Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, it's 10 days from that date.
So, and just one more question. A lot of things were decided at this meeting that he was going to be doing quite a few busy things in the next 2 weeks. Who on the council is going to step up and do all of those things?
The charter references what happens when a vacancy is created. This is not a vacancy in the city manager's position, so they don't have the authority to appoint a new city manager at this point, because the current city manager is simply on paid administrative leave pending that hearing. Technically speaking, he has not been terminated by this council at this meeting. The council will have an opportunity at the meeting in 10 or so days after hearing the presentation, if Mr. Fellows decides to go that route, which he may not. It's entirely up to him. The council votes again to either uphold its earlier decision that it was made tonight, or to reverse it, or to somehow change it.
How will we be made aware of when and where this meeting is?
It'll be posted. It's required. It's an open meeting, so it has to be posted within 18 hours of its start time.
18 hours.
That's what the Open Meetings Act requires.
Okay.
They can certainly do it sooner than that, but it has to at least 18 hours. And since one thing that's of benefit to the city is that the postings are outside, so even when City Hall is closed, those postings are there. So.
Any more comments?
If I was a betting man, I would bet that the police chief that you guys just hired would probably not take the job. Why would she? And so then you guys are even going to be in more of a hole, losing 2 officers and no police chief and no city manager. Just food for thought.
Yeah, she might be the next one gone out. You never know.
Any more comments?
Yeah, Ryan, I'm very sad to hear this, and if there wasn't all this stuff in the way, I'd come up and shake your hand. It's been a very good pleasure working for you. I want to see the best come out of this for you. I think this is wrong.
Thank you.
We agree with you.
Absolutely.
I just want to express I'm very disappointed in the decision that the council made tonight, and I really thought the meeting was going along rather well. One of the best meetings you've had in a long time until the end, and I don't know what happened. The wheels just fell off. more food for thought. What city manager is gonna wanna apply for this position in the future?
When they see the track record.
I don't know if that was ever thought about.
I got a question. Arlington Township has a Board of Appeals whenever the township board like messes up something. Does Bangor have a Board of Appeals to where we can actually put this up for an appeal?
No, there is nothing in the charter that allows for an appeal.
Maybe this new charter needs one.
Yeah.
Any more comments?
The citizenry.
I would like to just say that, like I said the other night, I have seen tremendous things happening. And I've only been here 2 years, and that first year was really pathetic. I mean, there were so many different interims, and then there was Rich, and that was a joke, and there was nothing happening during those interim managers, and there was nothing happening even when Rich was here. And I met with him so many times it was ridiculous, and apparently he couldn't do anything. But I know that there was talk sometime around the Rich thing that the city was in such bad situation that they would qualify for an emergency manager. I used to work for one who's currently working. He's actually the head of the entire division. And I've met with him. I met with him a year ago when Rich was here. Because I said, this looks like a great town, but I keep hearing all this stuff. What's going on? Yeah, we know about it. I don't know if you realize it. They do know about you in Lansing, and they know it's not good. They know it's not good. There are people here who have agendas. I heard about those agendas, and now I've seen them happen. You don't represent the people here. But a city manager now being replaced again, you're gonna be having this emergency manager. I'm just letting you know. You've written your story and the whole town knows it.
Good, that means the council will lose all their privileges.
All their power.
Yep.
An emergency manager takes over.
Yep.
That's not good for the town, though.
There's no emergency
It
management.
sounds like it will be at least on the decision.
Any more comments?
I'd just like to say that I came here in 1985, and the town of Bangor is a much nicer place than it was when I came here in 1985. It really is. The first time I walked in City Hall, our city manager had just been indicted and was cleaning out his desks. And he told me, and I told him I was starting a business next door to the City Hall, and he said, well, good luck. That's how he went. The town was full of dilapidated, abandoned buildings, and the infrastructure was terrible. We had a police department that was wild and crazy. This is such a nice place compared to when I came here. It isn't even funny. You guys need to get yourself together. We need to be moving forward. I'm not a council member. I'm just a member of the audience, but you really need to plan ahead because you're not doing it right.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, during that procedure, that hearing where people are going to be sworn in, I just want to remind people not to lie.
Moving down the
Because
list.
it's perjury.
Next one will be boards, commission appointments. List all openings, make appointments as needed. Currently, we still have an opening on the city charter. I'd like to make an appointment to Mike Stickles to be added on it. He was previously, we put up a list of people to join. Nobody took the interest, We still have an opening, and he's here tonight. So can I get a motion to add him to the charter committee?
I'll make a motion to appoint Mike Stickles to the charter committee.
I second that. Go ahead.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Rounds up the city charter. Our next meeting will be in December. I believe we still have openings on the EDC board. And I don't know if we still have an opening on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, or is that full now? That's something I'll follow back up on. Going through the list. Last thing is city council member comments. Start with Danny.
I'd like to start off with some questions. In the past, I think Ryan was here. Brian was here for one and was not here for the other. I'm not against anything that's on the agenda, but I think I do have a problem as far as motions being made when they're not on the agenda for the evening, and they were passed. One was being brought up by Lucas as far as PCI not being allowed to take any of the police cars to be repaired, and the second one was brought up by Fred, and I think Ryan was here for that one, and it was about keys for Lynn and for Nick. I brought up a motion, and those were both approved by not being on the agenda. I brought it up one night when you were here about moving the public comment back up to the top so that we'd have it on the agenda twice, and I was denied. Now, like I said, my question is not that these two motions were made. I'm not against them being made at the proper time, but I feel that when they were made, they're not in the proper realm of business, therefore they should be redone.
I don't disagree with that. If I didn't advise the council that a motion was improper because it wasn't on the agenda, that would have been my oversight. If I was here for that meeting.
I don't think you were here when Lucas did his, but when Fred did his, you were.
I don't know, but the council should not take action on any item that's not on the agenda. And so if action has been taken, I would ask that the council place those items on the agenda for a future meeting and ratify the earlier actions.
No, I just need to do it.
Okay, continuing on, I would like to say that I'm very disappointed in the fact that the decision was made by the council tonight. I've worked with Ryan since I got on the council in May. He's not done everything that he was asked to do, but like I said the other night, I don't think God could have. I think he's done a hell of a job for the city. I don't want to start over. I think what he has done has been hard work, dedication that you ain't going to find in the average bear on the street. And like Ethan said, I don't know if you're going to find somebody even want to come here. And it's pretty sad when we get to that point. Ryan's showing the other night, I would have said go to hell to all of you. But he sat right there and came back with an answer about everything. And I thought that was very, very professional of him. I think we got something that everybody doesn't realize how good we've got. That's what I got to say.
Amen.
Fred?
I just want to say I want to wish Ryan well. I do like him as a person. I can appreciate all the comments that the public has made, and I can also appreciate everybody's thoughts here on the council. So I do wish him the best. I hope he has a bright future ahead of him, and that's all I have to say.
Harold?
I don't have any comments.
Luke?
Well, I think it's easy for people to, I don't know. I appreciate that everyone comes to the meetings and gives their input. The input from the community does help in the decision-making process. But at the same time, the community isn't completely clued into everything that's been going on. So hard decisions to make. I don't like being on this end of it. It's not fun for me. So that's all I have on that.
Lynn?
Several things. First of all, I'd like to thank Kim for the new voting setup that you put together. I really like that. I thought it was awesome. I don't know if any of you noticed, but St. Vincent de Paul has a new front on their store. I think it looks really nice. I would also like to thank the police committee for all their hard work and due diligence and looking for a new chief of police, and I look forward to meeting her and having her work with us. Also, I'd like to thank both Kim and Lisa for all the hard work that you two do. I know that a lot of what you guys do goes unnoticed in the city, and I would just like to say thank you. I would also like to thank PCI for the new report. I really appreciated the report this time and thought it was a really, really good job. Ryan, I'd also like to thank you for everything that you've done here. I stayed true to my word when I told you when we talked what my vote would be. And I just have one other statement. It was stated that no other places give keys to their council members or whatever, but I do know that Hartford, Lawrence, and Bangor Township do allow all of their trustees and their city people to have keys to their buildings. So I know that it is done in other places.
Yeah. Like I said the other night, I have personally nothing against Ryan, and we've been able to get along, but there's been so many things that happen. The people that's been coming to our meetings, I really appreciate that, but the whole thing is, there's been a lot of things during the time that Ryan has been in position that the council has tried to get him to work with and give us the proper information. And we talk about moving ahead. Well, one of the things is moving ahead is to have cooperation between the council and the city manager, and to work for the citizens and the good of the citizens. And over the past 11 months, this has not happened in many cases. And there's things that the people attending these meetings have not been privy to all of the things out there. So I appreciate their comments, but I would also ask them to also consider the fact that they don't have everything available to them. That the reason why the decision that was made tonight, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah.
As mayor, that was a tough decision to make a tiebreaker. Like you said, Ray stated, Ryan is a good person, but I think the events that's been happening over the last few months, there's been a conflict between the city council and the city manager. We're not moving in the proper direction, and there's times that something has to be done, and we have to move in a positive direction.
You never considered mediation, right? Oh, gee.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for citizens of the city of Bangor who actually do support the city council and decisions we do make. We have lots of issues in this town, and instead of sitting here and fighting among each other and putting together a path that we need to lead to, guys, there's so many things out there when we can't sit down here and describe how much money we have in our general fund. We can't sit here how much money we have in our water funds and sewer funds. I think sometimes we need to question, do we even have money to make payroll sometimes? And sitting here, the leadership in this city council, that's the biggest thing is the support. We need to know our funds are the most important thing, how we move forward, and understand that, how we're going to get to the next place, what we're going to do next. Our roads, look at them. It wasn't for recently until all the patching jobs, they're horrible. And after this winter, they're going to be in rough shape again. Somehow we have to move in the directions, fix the issues in the city of Bangor, and get beyond that. Looking at contracts, understanding contracts that we give to employees. We can't go backwards. We got to go the directional of, everything. This is an at-will state. It's no longer, just cause. We're at will, and therefore, that's the direction the state's gone with. People voted, and that's the direction the city needs to follow. There's no more of the buddy system of contracts that we give him because he's a great guy and he's been around 15, 20, 25 years and promising pensions and health care insurance because the city can't afford it. We have legacy costs up to $2 million right now. If we went by the state guidelines, we need $2 million to support our legacy costs. We don't have it. Upgrade our roads. We need $2 million. We don't have it. That's not counting our aging sewer and water lines that we're going to find out soon how many water mains are going to break this winter. There's a lot of tough decisions to make. And the biggest thing is we have to know financially where we're at and have the leadership to pull through that and make those tight decisions that everybody, they don't want to talk about because they're friends. He's a nice guy.
So starting over is the way to go.
No, it's not starting over. It's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's a sad day in Bangor again. And that's all I have to say. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a motion?
Move to adjourn.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Can I have a copy of that proposal that you read?
I need
The
the
motion
council
Yes.
people to just stay put for a second. I have things to give you.